Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rohit. In this particular video, I am going to discuss the most important interview question, that is, what are the differences between lists and tuples. Before we shall know what are the differences between lists and tuples, let us have a look at the definitions of each. First, what is a tuple or a list? What is a list? List is a unordered collection of elements of different data type separated by comma and enclosed within the square brackets. So what is a list? A list is an unordered collection of elements of different data types separated by comma and enclosed within the square brackets. Now next, coming to what is a tuple. What is a tuple? The main difference between a list and a tuple is tuple is an ordered collection of ordered collection of elements of different data types enclosed within the sorry separated by comma and enclosed within the parenthesis. This is what tuple is. So the first difference between a list and a tuple is list is unordered collection of elements, but whereas a tuple is ordered collection of elements. Next, the elements present inside a list are enclosed within the square brackets, and whereas the elements in the tuple are enclosed within the parenthesis. So if I draw a difference between the two, first let us consider this is a list and this is a tuple. First, this is unordered, and the difference here is it is ordered. The second difference is the elements present inside a list are enclosed within the square brackets, but whereas the elements of a tuple are enclosed within parentheses. Next, the third difference between a list and a tuple is in order to create an empty list, we have to specify empty square brackets, but whereas in sorry, 1 minute. But whereas in tuple we have to specify the parenthesis. Fourth difference, list is slower when compared to tuple, but whereas tuple is faster when compared to list. Fifth is nothing but more memory is being consumed in lists. Sorry. Here less memory. Sixth, the another difference between these two is this is mutable in nature, whereas this is immutable in nature. So these are the basic differences between a list and a tuple. So the first difference is it is unordered, whereas the tuple is ordered. Second, the elements present inside a list are enclosed within the square brackets, whereas the elements of a tuple are enclosed within parentheses. In order to create an empty list in in that case we basically specify only the empty square braces. But whereas in tuple, in order to create an empty tuple, we basically specify parentheses. Fourth, the fourth difference between these two is list is slower when compared to tuple. As list is slower, the memory which is being consumed by the list is more when compared to tuple. Next, list is mutable, but whereas the tuple is immutable. Now coming to the fifth difference, how memory is being consumed more when compared to tuple. How memory is being consumed more in list when compared to tuple. So let us consider I am having a list 1 which is having the elements of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So whenever I create a list, if I do so when I try to copy this list, so whenever a copy is concerned, this copy is basically divided into two. One is the shallow copy and another one is nothing but a deep copy. So in shallow copy, what exactly happens is whenever a list is copied, any changes made to the original list will also get reflected in the copied list. But whereas in deep copy, any changes made to the original list will not get reflected in the copied list. So whenever a copy operation is performed on a list, then in that case, so in order to have a so whenever a shallow copy is done, both the original as well as the copied list, these both will be pointing to the same memory location. There won't be any problem. In this case, more memory is not being consumed. But whereas in deep copy, the original and the copied list will not be pointing to the same memory location. So in this case, what the Python interpreter has to do is the Python interpreter has to check both the lists which are present in both different memory locations. This is where the memory is being consumed more. That is the reason, as far as list is concerned, memory is being consumed more in list when compared to tuple. Next, coming to mutability and immutability. What is mutable? What do you mean by mutable? Mutable as in once the elements inside a list is created, once the elements inside a list are created, we can modify and also add new elements to the existing list. But whereas in tuple, this is not allowed. That is why tuples are nothing but immutable in nature. So what is immutability? Once the elements are created inside a tuple, they cannot be changed, or new elements cannot be added. This is how list is mutable and tuple is immutable. So these are the basic differences between list and tuple. Thank you for watching this video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed, and hit the bell icon for more notifications and videos. And if you have any doubts in any of my videos, please do reach out to me on my email ID, which will be given in the description of this particular video. Stay safe, keep learning, and keep growing. Bye bye.